Hey, my name is Tyler Anobis, and this is my wife, Lauren.
And we have two kids, a son named Jaden and a daughter named Deanna.
And we are part of Sojourn Collegiate Ministries, planning campus ministries right here in Rhode Island. So many people ask me why I do college ministry. And it's because when I was in college, I had a lot of friends far from God who wouldn't come to church with me or the campus ministry with me because they felt like outsiders. But they were willing to sit down with me, to live life with me, to have conversations about their friendships, about their careers, even spiritual questions. And eventually, a lot of these friends joined a small group that me and my friends started in our fraternity, where they started asking spiritual questions for the very first time. What if there was a ministry that focused on those that were far from God, not taking them out of their context and bringing them to a church, but doing the opposite, unleashing the church to go into the campuses, to the dorms, to love people where they're at? That's why in 2011, I left the Midwest and I traveled to Rhode Island because I wanted to start a ministry for those types of people. We partnered with Sojourn in order to plant ministries for those that were far from God.
In Rhode Island, 98% of college students are not connected to any Christian community at all. The college age range is the least reached age group in our country by the church. And Rhode Island's one of the least reached areas of our whole nation. That's why we like to say we are here to reach the 98%.
Our mission is to invite students to discover God's dream for their lives, to trade in their dreams for God's dreams. And we do this in 3 different ways. The first way we do this is in community. We believe in creating safe environments where students feel accepted and loved simply because of who they are.
One way we do this is through weekly fun events called 703. The sole purpose of these events is to learn a name and a story. The second way we do this is by focusing on justice. We believe that by serving other people, we're able to take our eyes off ourselves and focus on the bigger picture of God's dream for the world.
One way we do this is through a polar plunge, that we raise money in order to give to an organization that fights human trafficking. And then a few weeks later, we take our students, they give up their spring break, and we get to go to Mexico, and we get to invest in these kids' lives as well as give them the money that we raised. And the last one is faith. We believe that none of this matters without the person of Jesus. And that's why we invite students to explore who Jesus is with us.
One of the ways that we do this is through weekly community groups, where 50% of the students that attend are exploring Jesus for the very first time.
One story where this gets lived out real well is with a student named Nate. Nate was a student at Salve Regina, and he loved our group. And the Christians in our group especially loved Nate. They invited him to all our fun events that we had, and eventually invited him to a small group. You see, Nate was an atheist, yet he loved our small group where he could ask spiritual questions. Oftentimes, he would try to prove the Bible wrong, but week in, week out, Nate showed up consistently to this group. Eventually, Nate graduated, yet he wasn't a Christian yet. But over the next year, he decided to read through the Bible. He would call me about the questions he had about the Bible or about faith, and eventually Nate called me and said he wanted to be baptized. At his baptism, he tells one of my favorite stories. You see, in college, Nate was trying to find signs that God was real. And so one day when he was running with a friend in college, at the very end, he tells himself and to God, he says, if I lose this race, maybe that's a sign that God is real. Well, sure enough, Nate won that race. And so I told Nate he was literally running from God, and yet God was running after him. I love Nate's story because it's a good reminder that we just plant seeds while these students are in college. Seeds that we don't even get to see bear fruit sometimes until years after they leave the university. But there's still a lot left to do. Sojourn currently has teams on 4 campuses in Rhode Island and 4 in Boston. But there are over 75 colleges and universities within 60 miles of here, and hundreds of thousands of college students.
Will you join us? We can't do this without generous partners like you to come alongside of us in this mission.
We want to build a community of givers that will help transform college campuses throughout Rhode Island. People who will not just give once, but people that will stick with us month in and month out.
We subscribe to things every single month: movies, music, TV. We subscribe and give our money to these things because they benefit us. We are looking for a community of generous people who will subscribe to something bigger, who will subscribe to something that will benefit the kingdom of God and that could change the life of a college student.
Our average donation is $100 a month, but maybe you can give more, or maybe you need to give less. But 100% of the money given will go directly to impact college students throughout Rhode Island. Will you join us in investing in the next generation?
Thank you for investing in me.
Thanks for investing in me.
Thank you for investing in me.
Thanks for investing in me.
Thanks for investing in me.
Thanks for investing in me.
Thank you for investing in me.
Thank you for investing in me.
Thank you!